I didn't think the movie was going to work at all as a film unless the audience could bond with the avatars in the same way they bonded with the characters in the real world. Trying to get that level of facial capture and empathy and wet eyes and actual performance on a digital humanoid, that was one of the hardest things we've had to accomplish.
I don't think this is a particularly outlandish future that's been extrapolated from now. I feel like it's inevitable, really.
I'm gonna spend my whole life in the OASIS if it comes real, because all your dreams come true in there.
To go into a world where anything's possible, I mean, of course I'd want to go, but I mean, the decay of reality that could happen because of that, yeah, that's terrifying.
It's already happening, and it's happening much faster than I predicted in Ready Player One, so it'll be interesting to watch it evolve.
Ready Player One shows us a rather disturbing vision of the future, where most of the world's inhabitants have given up on reality and decided to play out their lives in the virtual reality game called the OASIS. But just how likely is that as a future possibility? And more importantly, what other kind of techno-sci-fi future dystopias should we be worried about? But before I open up that can of worms, let's take a look at Ready Player One.
Ready Player One is set in a kind of dystopian future where the world is terrible, there's no resources, loads of people are poor, and then there are some really super rich people where everyone, because real life is so terrible, they spend all their time in this huge video game called the OASIS, which is kind of a full-body VR experience.
It's about a boy who is hugely engrossed with pop culture, be it music, be it video games, be it movies, TV shows, comics. And it's the ideal fictional experience for someone who has spent all that time kind of throwing themselves into those worlds, because it takes all that knowledge, which many might describe as useless, and kind of hinges your future on it.
It references a lot of stuff that nerds like, because the creator of the OASIS really liked the 80s. He sort of makes everyone else like it as well to win the game, so all the teenagers in it really like Star Wars and these kind of old arcade games and stuff, so people of that generation, when they read it, can go, yeah, I like that too!
Why are we so fixated with the past?
Nostalgia's a really kind of nice, sweet thing, but it's also quite a dangerous thing sometimes. It's kind of not depressing, but like quite a limited view of the future if you think the best things have already been made.
What are your predictions for the future? I mean, you know, as someone who's kind of consumed all these different kind of pop culture things, and let's be honest, you know, with things like Star Trek, it ends up influencing tech, and it sort of becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Yes, and you know, I think that's definitely going to be the case with the film of Ready Player One. I know the book has already influenced people making virtual reality come about, but that will be minuscule compared to the influence of this movie.
In a very strange way, when we were shooting this film, we were creating a version of the OASIS, because we were existing in a motion capture volume in one realm, and then on a 2D monitor, you could see, we would lift our hands, we were driving our avatars, and we could see, we could do this, and our avatars would do this on screen, and they would be walking around in a different environment.
I am excited to see the future of VR, to see if they can make it more accessible. Because at the moment the headset's really bulky, you need loads of money to have it.
The first time I tried it was like in the Trocadero in 1996, and it was all like polygon graphics, and it was rubbish. I was like, what is this? And then I tried it again recently, and oh my goodness, it's come on a lot. And it's extraordinary.
Another early VR experience was I was sitting on a horse, and in physical life the horse was a bike, and I was pedaling to move the horse forward. And once I hit a certain speed, the horse sprouted wings and became a Pegasus and started flying. And the first thing I did was look down, and it was absolutely terrifying. Like, I genuinely, my instincts took over, and I thought I was gonna die. And I know I'm in a building, a hot convention center, surrounded by other video game players and developers on a bike. I look like a complete idiot. But in that moment, I just could not, I had no awareness of that. And that's really, really interesting, and it's really, really powerful. And when you see people in the public, and just people who aren't familiar with games experiencing the same thing, you really see why it's a technology worth chasing.
What would be the experience you'd want to try out in VR?
I think horror is a very good application for VR. But I think it will kill someone. I think it's only a matter of time. Because like regular video games, if you're playing an action game, your brain, because our brains are stupid, will drop the same cocktail of chemicals and adrenalines into your blood if you're playing a game like that as if I actually punched you in the face, for real. because your brain can't tell the difference. Imagine someone gets a VR headset for Christmas and they're like, have a go on this, Nan. And
Poor Nana.
When your brain thinks you're traveling but you know that you're not, it assumes you've been intoxicated and makes you throw up to get rid of the poison. That's what travel sickness is. You know, human beings are like a Ferrari being driven by a monkey. It's an incredible piece of kit being controlled by an absolute twonk.
I have 3 different virtual reality headsets at home and play a lot of the new virtual reality games like Robo Recall and the new Star Trek Bridge Crew that lets you log on and
So good.
oh, that's so much fun. And I play it with friends who live in other states and time zones, and you feel like you just hung out together and went on a Star Trek mission together, and we have so much fun doing that. Virtual reality really has the power to erase distance and borders and draw people together. And once your avatars get like they are in the film, and your facial expressions and all the nuance of human interaction is translated into the OASIS, then you know, it'll be even harder to log out.